Well, now let's get to some of your thoughts on our big story last night. And this is regarding a really bizarre case of mistaken identity in Southwest Washington. A family was told their loved one was on life support, and they ultimately decided to pull the plug. But it turns out the man who ended up dying was not the person they thought he was. Instead, it was their loved one's roommate. And that person's family was only told their father had died and didn't find out about the medical mix-up until our Kyle Aboshi called them and told them about it recently, 3 years after their father had died. Now, there are a lot of elements to this story, and if you missed it last night, be sure to check it out on the KGW YouTube channel. But for those of you who tuned in last night and saw it, there were a few themes to your emails in response. Amy wrote in, "What struck me is, why didn't these people go and look at their family member before deciding to pull the plug? Yes, hospitals make mistakes, but these people made a life decision without seeing the patient, and that is wrong." And that leads to John's comment. You failed to tell the entire story. This occurred during the COVID shutdown, and certainly the COVID restrictions played the bigger part in this unfortunate situation. Many people were denied simple human rights during the pandemic. Others wonder about the hospital policies surrounding the choice to take someone off life support. A viewer on our YouTube channel wrote, "When I worked in a hospital, there were multiple checks in place to prevent the wrong patient from getting medication. I find it unbelievable they wouldn't do multiple cross-checks before pulling the plug."
I am shocked. I had to put my dog down. Before that could happen, we got a call from the veterinarian, and after extensive talking, found out that there was no hope. So I said, go ahead and euthanize him. They said, we can't do it unless you view the body of the dog or view the dog. And then we went in, we viewed the dog. They still wouldn't let us do it. We had to sign papers after viewing the dog. Why wasn't the family required to view this man? If they did that, they would have known instantly it wasn't their brother. I don't understand the hospital screwing up this much.
She makes a good point. When Kevin sums it up nicely, "I can't stop thinking about the family of the person that died. I believe they deserve an apology from the hospital, and one in person. The hospital should man up and apologize even after the fact. The family at least deserves that." Well, after our story last night, we also asked if you or someone you know had experienced a medical mix-up of some kind. Well, Susan told us, "The closest I ever came was when I was having a knee replacement surgery. I was given a shot to get sleepy, and I felt something on the opposite leg. They were getting the wrong knee ready to replace." Glad she caught it. And Misty says Kyle's story does not surprise her. She used to work at Peace Health Southwest Medical Center and wrote of the hospital, "My mother was recently there for a multi-week stay, and very early on, they attempted to convince her she needed a blood transfusion when all along they had her confused with a different patient. There was never any acknowledgement or apology or clearing up of the confusion. They just acted like the conversation never happened and never mentioned it again."